Tony T here from Tony'sPicks.com with our NFL Pick Show here for Sunday, September the 14th. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Lots of free picks over our channel, covered by myself as well as our team of cappers here at Tony'sPicks.com, making it a great channel to subscribe to. We go live every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It is the Tony Hicks Morning Show. The cappers join me, going game by game with you on all the major sports, giving you picks. The live chat's open so you guys can interact with us with your picks, comments, and more. So check us out on that live show. Give us a like, a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. And if you want sports even more, hit that join button. Become a channel member. Get early access to my videos, as well as a way to support us for the work we put in this show. We are looking for cappers. Send us an email. You'll find the form on the homepage at Tony'sPicks.com. Visit Tony'sPicks.com for our premium plays. Our best bets are there from our top-rated cappers. Click the link to the hot cappers. Get signed up. You see our hot cappers up here like Sean Higgs, yours truly, Mills up there. Been Red Hot Jorge. And these are guys you see from our live show as well as our YouTube video. Chris Atkins up there, Brian, Kevin, Thomas, a lot of the guys you know, for Brian as well, doing well. Guys you know from our live shows as well as our YouTube videos. Latest premiums here center of the page with best bets and more. We'll be locked and loaded for this card here on Sunday. All of our one-day passes are profit guaranteed. They must turn a profit. Amount purchased is credit back to your account for site credits. That is profit guaranteed. And then our promo code TonyT at checkout knocks off that 15%. The link is in the description to get signed up. So let's go ahead. Let's get this one underway. We got the Rams and the Titans here for Sunday. LA Rams left guard is doubtful. Tennessee's right tackle out. On defense, their nose tackle out. Rams have a slight injury advantage based on the channel rating. LA 1-0 after a 14-9 home victory against Houston. The Rams struggled on the ground with less than 3 yards per rush. It wasn't outstanding defensive performance as they allowed 4.2 yards per rush, 5.6 yards per pass attempt. Matthew Stafford 21-29 for 245 yards and a touchdown. Tennessee drops to 0-1 after a 20-12 road defeat at Denver. It was a poor offensive showing for the Titans, rushing for only 71 yards on 21 carries and ineffective in the passing game. They did give up 6 sacks. On defense, they allowed 5 yards per rush, but stymied the Broncos' passing game by allowing 4.1 yards per pass attempt. Rookie Cam Ward in his first game, 12-28 for 112 yards. Rams defense was very good last week, holding off a playoff team in the Texans to 3 field goals. But LA's offense was not sharp, got away with a bad game. Both teams are struggling to run the football. Titans in their loss to the Broncos had miserable offensive numbers, and they got really good. They got a good defense. They catch a good defense here in the Rams here 2 weeks in a row, right? But we're playing good defenses 2 weeks in a row. Their defense stymied the Broncos and Bo Nix. LA 7-4 the under on the road on grass. Tennessee 8-2 the under at home. While on a road game, pick here will be LA and Tennessee under 41.5. Bills and the Jets for Sunday. Buffalo has a defensive tackle out with corner and nickel back questionable. New York receiver Reynolds is out with the tight end Taylor questionable. On defense, a nickel back is questionable. New York has an injury advantage based on the Dr. Chow rating by +4 rating points. Bills defense has a very low rating, 78.3. Buffalo 1-0 after a 41-40 victory at home against Baltimore, down by 34-19 after 3 quarters. They rallied in that fourth quarter for the win. They rushed for 3.5 yards a carry and were effective throwing the football. Defensively, they allowed 8.2 yards per rush, 10.2 yards per pass attempt. Josh Allen, 33 of 46 passing, 394 yards and 2 touchdowns. New York 0-1, dropping a 34-32 home decision to Pittsburgh. The Jets found success on the ground and through the air. They contained the Steelers' ground attack but allowed 4 touchdown passes despite 4 sacks. Justin Fields was 16 of 22 passing, 218 yards and a touchdown. He did rush for 48 yards and 2 scores. The Buffalo defense was torched by the Ravens. They looked bad in the preseason and struggled in pass defense last week. New York in the opener produced on the ground and through the air. Their run defense was outstanding. Buffalo 2-4 the spread as road favorite of 3.5 to 9.5 points. Pick your Jets +6.5. Browns and Ravens for Sunday. Cleveland right tackle questionable. Baltimore fullback Ricard out. The Ravens have an injury advantage based on the Chow ratings by +4 ratings points there. Baltimore is healthy on both sides with high ratings. Well, we've got Cleveland 0-1 after a 17-16 home defeat to Cincinnati. The Browns' offense performed poorly in defeat, 2 yards per rush and ineffective passing. The defense deserved better as they held the Bengals to 2 yards per rush and 95 yards passing. Joe Flacco in the game, 31 of 45 passing, 290 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. Baltimore 0-1 after a 41-40 road defeat at Buffalo. The Ravens blew a fourth quarter 15-point lead. The run game produced 8.2 yards a carry. They contained the Bills' running game but allowed 389 yards passing on 46 attempts. Lamar Jackson, 14 of 19 for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 70 rushing yards and a touchdown. Cleveland offensive numbers make them a tough bet. I would expect the Ravens to clean themselves up defensively and be in better shape to play 4 quarters of defense. Flacco is a statue in the pocket and a target for blitzes. Baltimore 12-2 the spread when they scored 28 or greater points. Cleveland, by the way, 1-11 the spread when they allowed 20 or greater points. Cleveland 5-13 the spread on the road. They are 2-0. We're looking at Baltimore 2-0 the spread as double-digit favorites the past 2+ seasons. With an opening line of 13, we see now 11.5, so that's value on the favorite. Pick here Baltimore minus 11.5. '49ers and Saints going off here on Sunday. Purdy and Kittle out for San Francisco. Receiver Jennings and left tackle Williams are questionable. New Orleans left guard, I should say, is out with their right tackle questionable. On defense, the linebacker out. New Orleans has a significant injury advantage based on the child ratings by plus 5.8 ratings points. Both offensive have low ratings, by the way. San Francisco 1-0 as they defeated Seattle 17-13 on the road. 49ers rushed for only 3.3 yards a carry, but a late drive was carried the passing game for the win. They stymied the Seahawks offense for 3.2 yards a carry and ineffective passing. Brock Purdy, 26 of 35 passing for 277 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. But his turf toe gives way to Mac Jones. New Orleans 0-1 after a 20-13 defeat to Arizona at home. The rushing game produced nearly 5 yards a carry, but poor work in the passing game. They allowed 5.5 yards a carry to the Cardinals. They did a good job of defending the pass by allowing 5 yards per pass attempt. Spencer Rattler in the game, 27 of 46 for 214 yards. Mac Jones got the start at quarterback. He wasn't effective as a starter for New England. The 49ers defense had a good showing last week, and the Saints pass defense was effective. I would expect the 49ers to attack the Saints on the ground based on their performance last week. New Orleans 6-2 the under as a home underdog of 7 points or fewer. San Francisco 3-1 to the under in back-to-back road games. Pick here will be San Francisco and New Orleans under 40.5. We got Patriots and the Dolphins going off here on Sunday. New England right tackle is questionable. On defense, Christian Gonzalez, a corner, remains out. Miami tight end Waller is out, and so is their right tackle. On defense, a tackle and corner out. New England has a significant injury advantage based on the child rating. It's by 7.20 and is significant on both sides of the football. New England 0-1 after a 20-13 home defeat to Las Vegas. They rushed for 60 yards and the passing game inefficient. They smothered Raiders' run game by allowed 333 yards through the air for almost 10 yards per pass attempt. Drake May, 20 of 46 for 287 yards with a touchdown and pick for 6.2 yards per pass attempt. Miami fell to 0-1 with their 33-8 road defeat to Indianapolis. Miami couldn't get much going on with their offense. They finished with 211 yards on defense. They allowed 418 yards to the Colts with 262 through the air. Tua Tagovailoa, 14 of 23 passing for 114 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. Now, the energy advantage appears to be factored into this point spread. It's so low. I think it's maybe too much. The Dolphins are the team from week 1 wearing that dunce cap. New England's offensive and pass defensive numbers were terrible last week. Miami is back home where the Tua has had success. Hot weather in September games give pretty much the Dolphins a home side advantage. And this side in September has given the Patriots fits for several decades. Patriots 3-6 to the spread on the road following a home loss. Miami 12-5 straight up at home the past 17. We'll take Miami here on the money line minus 125. Seahawks and Steelers going off here on Sunday. Seattle nickelback is doubtful. Pittsburgh defensive end, safety, and corner out. Seattle has an injury advantage based on the child rating by plus 4.4. We've got here Seattle 0-1 after a 17-13 home defeat to San Francisco. The offense sputtered for 3.2 yards a carry and 146 yards passing. They held the 49ers to 3.3 yards a carry, but a late drive aided by big plays in the passing game proved the difference. Sam Darnold 16 of 23 passing for 150 yards. Pittsburgh 1-0 after a 34-32 road win at the Jets. The Steelers' ground game produced only 53 yards. They were carried by the pass. Defensively, they allowed 182 yards of rushing to the Jets for 4.7 yards a carry. and 9.6 yards per carry. At 9.6 yards per pass attempt. Aaron Rodgers completed 22 of 30 passing for 244 yards and 4 touchdowns. Seattle's pass defensive numbers are concerning here, allowing 74% completions, 7.6 yards per pass attempt. And that was against a banged-up offense for the 49ers. Now they face a Steelers team with an upgraded quarterback. The 49ers were banged up as well in the secondary, and still Seattle could not capitalize. Steelers 11-6 of the spread at home. We'll take Pittsburgh here -3. Bears and Lions for Sunday. Chicago has a defensive tackle questionable and nickelback out. Detroit has a left tackle questionable with their free safety questionable. Chicago has a slight injury advantage based on the channel ratings. Chicago comes off a 27-24 home defeat to Minnesota on Monday night. Bears rushed for 4.6 yards a carry, but were inefficient with their passing performance. They stymied the Vikings passing game for most of the game, but allowed a late comeback there. They allowed 4.6 yards a carry. Chicago held a 17-6 lead after 3 quarters. Caleb Williams here, 21-35 passing for 210 yards and a touchdown. He had 58 yards rushing and a score. Detroit 0-1 after a 27-13 road defeat at Green Bay. Lions offense ineffective, 2.1 yards a carry and 5 yards per pass attempt. They held the Packers to 3.1 yards a carry, but 8.5 yards per pass attempt. Jared Goff in the game, 31-39, 255 yards with a touchdown and pick. Late drives really boosted up those numbers. In high leverage spots, ineffective. They gave up 4 sacks. Chicago's been very competitive in Detroit the past 2 seasons with losses by 3 and 5 points. A short week for the Bears. There were 2 weeks between the end of the preseason and start of the season, so I'm not going to worry about the short weeks too much here. Detroit had to replace both coordinators and were ineffective offensively at Green Bay. Chicago defense will be in better shape to play 4 quarters of football. Pick here Chicago +6.5. Jaguars and the Bengals going off here on Sunday. Jacksonville and Cincinnati are healthy on offense and defense. Jacksonville has an injury advantage based on the channel rating at tight end position for the Bengals, which gives Cincinnati a disadvantage really on running plays for these running tight ends that are banged up. Jacksonville 1-0 with a 26-10 home victory against Carolina. Jacksonville had effective rushing performance, 200 yards on 32 carries. They stymied the Panthers' air attack and allowed 4.5 yards per rush. Trevor Lawrence in the game, 19-31 for 178 yards and a touchdown and a pick. Cincinnati 1-0 after a 17-16 road win at Cleveland. Bengals got away with a futile offensive performance. They rushed for 2 yards a carry and were ineffective in the passing game. The defense held the Browns to 2 yards per rush, 6.2 yards per pass attempt. Joe Burrow here, 14-23 passing, 113 yards and a score. Bengals grounded out a win on the road against a divisional rival, and Jags beat one of the worst teams in the league. From last season, facing the Panthers defense, the Jaguars were inefficient passing the football at home in hot weather. Cincinnati put up a good showing on defense last week and should get better performance from their playmakers here in week 2. Jacksonville 5-7 to the spread on the road following a home game. Bengals 4-2 to the spread at home following a road win. Pick here Cincinnati -3. Giants and the Cowboys going off here on Sunday. Dallas nickelback on defense is out. New York receiver Robinson questionable and their left tackle doubtful. On defense, an end is doubtful. No significant injury edge here based on the channel ratings. New York 0-1 after a 21-6 road defeat at Washington. Offensive numbers were disappointing for New York. They rushed for 3 yards a carry and ineffective with the passing game. They allowed 220 yards rushing to the Commanders with 6.9 yards a carry, along with 7.1 yards per pass attempt. Russell Wilson 17-37 passing, 468 yards. He rushed for 44 yards in the game. Dallas 0-1 with a 24-20 road defeat at Philadelphia. Cowboys rushed for 5.4 yards a carry, but the passing game was inefficient. They contained the Eagles through the air, but allowed 158 yards rushing for 4.2 yards a carry. Dak Prescott went 21-34 for 108 yards. Giants' rush defense really was torched last week. The offense did not look good. Rest advantage for the Cowboys in this spot, and they come in healthy on offense with their weapons in place. The combination of Lamb and Pickens could exploit this Giants secondary. New York 2-7 to the spread as a road dog of 7 or fewer points. The Cowboys 7-4 to the spread as a home favorite. They have covered 6 of their past 7 against the Giants. Pick here Cowboys -5.5. Broncos and the Colts going off here on Sunday. Denver has a linebacker out. Indianapolis has a defensive end questionable and a corner out. Denver has a slight injury advantage based on the total ratings by 2. Denver is 1-0 with their 20-12 home victory against Tennessee. Broncos, well, they rushed for 151 yards in the game, averaging 5 yards a carry. Passing game sputtered mildly. Their defense smashed the Titans' offense, allowing just 133 yards. Bo Nix in the game, 25 of 40, 176 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. Indy 1-0, a 33-8 home victory against Miami. Indianapolis rushed for 156 yards and were efficient passing. They held the Dolphins to 221 yards with 4.3 yards per pass attempt. Daniel Jones, 22 of 29 passing for 272 yards on the touchdown. He rushed for 26 yards and 2 scores. Jones' accuracy and efficiency were impressive. Denver's passing offense was pretty much off last week. The healthy Jonathan Taylor aids this offensive attack for the Colts. Miami was healthy when the Colts stymied the Dolphins' passing attack. Denver is 1-4 the spread on the road when they're lined at this price between -3 and +3. Indy 8-3 the spread at home when lined between +3 and -3. Pick here will be Indy +2.5. Panthers and Cardinals going off here on Sunday. Carolina left tackle is questionable. Arizona starters are healthy. No significant injury advantage based on the channel ratings. Carolina 0-1 after a 26-10 road defeat at Jacksonville. The Panthers offense rushed for 4.5 yards a carry but outperformed poorly through the air. On defense, they allowed 200 yards, rushing for 6.3 yards per pass per attempt. Rush attempt. Bryce Young, he hit 18 of 35 for 154 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Arizona 1-0, a 20-13 road win at New Orleans. The Cardinals were effective on the ground with 5.5 yards a carry, but had issues throwing the football. They allowed 4.9 yards per rush to the Saints, but only 4.5 yards per pass attempt. Kyler Murray in the game, 21 of 29 passing, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. Arizona rushed the football effectively in the opener. Panthers' rush defense is concerning, plus their offense didn't get much going. Carolina is 4-13 the spread on the road. Cardinals here, 8-4 the spread at home on a road game. Pick here Arizona -6.5. Eagles and Chiefs for Sunday. Philadelphia tight end Goddard is out, as is their fullback. KC receiver Worthy out. Receiver Rashee Rice suspended. No significant injury advantage based on the channel ratings. Philadelphia 1-0 after their 24-20 home victory against Dallas. The Eagles' run game was working here with 158 yards for 4.2 yards a carry. Defensively, they limited the Cowboys' passing attack to 5.5 yards per attempt. Jalen Hurts, Hurts hit 19 of 23 passes for 152 yards. He rushed for 62 yards and 2 scores. KC 0-1 after a 27-21 defeat to the Chargers in Brazil. KC rushed for 5.8 yards a carry, but they were not efficient enough in the passing game. On defense, they contained the Chargers on the ground, but allowed 304 yards passing on 34 attempts. Patrick Mahomes, 24 of 39 passing for 258 yards and a touchdown. He rushed for 57 yards and a score. The KC pass defense and Mahomes' accuracy came up short in their loss to the Chargers. They are missing Rashee Rice. The Eagles' defense is the key here, as they're really good against the pass. KC had trouble running the football as their top 2 backs from last year couldn't really eclipse a rushing average at 4 yards per attempt or greater there in 2024. The pick here will be the Eagles here at -1. Falcons and the Vikings going off here on Sunday night. Atlanta has the nickelback questionable. Minnesota fullback and left tackle are out. On defense, the linebacker is out with the safety questionable. Atlanta does have a significant injury advantage based on the channel ratings. And they also have rest advantage, right? Because Minnesota played the Monday night and had a trouble back home. Atlanta 0-1 after a 23-20 home defeat to Tampa Bay. Kicking problems hurt the Falcons again. Their run game was also sputtered with 2.5 yards a carry. Defensively, the Falcons were stout against the pass, allowing 4.9 yards per pass attempt. Michael Penix, 27 of 42 passing for 298 yards with a touchdown. He had a rushing touchdown. Minnesota 1-0 with their 27-24 road win at Chicago on Monday night. The Vikings offense really struggled until the fourth quarter as they were held to 6 points through 3 quarters. They compiled just 254 yards of offense, 4.5 yards per rush. On defense, they contained the Bears' passing game to 5.6 yards per attempt, 4.5 yards per rush attempt. J.J. McCarthy, 13 of 20 for 143 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. He rushed for 25 yards and a touchdown. Really picked it up again in the fourth quarter because the three-quarter numbers through three quarters pretty brutal. Atlanta defense defended well last week. They were able to get their passing game going under Penix. It's a short week for the Vikings, utilizing a rookie second-year quarterback. McCarthy wasn't effective until late when the Bears' defense was tired, having not put in a full 4 quarters of football yet. So the pick here will be Atlanta plus 3.5. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Lots of free picks over our channel, delivered by myself as well as our team of cappers here at Tony'sPicks.com, making it a great channel to subscribe to. Give us a like, a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. It really helps us build up our audience, and you can hit that join button to become a channel member and get early access to my videos, as well as a way to support us for the work that we put into the channel. You can apply as a capper, send us an email, the link's on the homepage, and of course visit our site, Tony'sPicks.com. We're a multi-capper site to showcase the top performers in our industry. Click the links to the hot cappers, get signed up to long-term passes. You see our top performers up there like Sean Higgs, yours truly up there, Mills doing great, Jorge up on the leaderboard as well, Kevin Thomas, Chris Atkins, Brian Bittler, Brian Palmer, guys you know from our YouTube videos as well as our live shows. Latest free picks here, center of the page with best bets and more. We will be locked and loaded for this card here on Sunday. And remember our promo code TonyT at checkout will knock off that 15%. The link's in the description to get signed up. That's going to do it for now. I'm Tony T, and we'll talk with you guys later.